Good morning, 4:30 Psycho. Could not sleep last night. Right before I went to bed last night, I went out to get almond milk. That's what I drank in my coffee. I was coming back. My neighbor was car was we are like when you pull in. We have a gated community we live um, in Canton on the Canton waterfront. It's got this big loop when so when you leave, you all leave around the same way, and you come around the tail end of the loop, and we're right next to a like a 5, 6 story building, and my neighbor, one of my friend's neighbors, was car was parked like it was leaving in the middle of the street, and they were there, and it looked like somebody was laying down on the road there, and so I stopped. It looked like they might have hit somebody, or possibly, or there was just somebody like a homeless person laying there. But come to find out, the person on the ground, and I we have a au pair. I don't know. I was like, let me see if they need help. See if see if I knew the person that got hit. How we could help. Um, right at that time, the cop cars started showing up. Uh, my friend had, they called the cops. But what come to find out, this person had came off the fifth floor actually, and a little bit later, um, it became the guy's boss showed up. I mean, it turned into a whole crime scene, but the um, the guy's boss. uh, So the guy worked uh, at the water taxi, evidently, and took some time off to deal with some mental issues, and I tried to commit suicide or committed suicide. I don't know. I can't imagine uh, he's gonna make it. I'll tell you this. That's not the way to. I mean, suicide's never the answer, but you know, he didn't die, and it was horrible. It was burnt into my brain. Um, this. All I could think of was the guy's parents. Like, well, all I could think of was my son too. It was really, really weird. Um, I mean, horrible, helpless, really just horrible um, thing. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It's one of those things. It's So I mean, of course, I googled. I'm like, well, God, is this guy gonna make it? And there were like dozens of cops, and the paramedics came and everything, and I left once. I mean, it was a shocking kind of thing, and I might have only been there maybe a couple minutes. I'm just trying to figure out, like, time gets all weird, like when you get held up at gunpoint. You're like, things like sort of distort. It's hard to. I might have been on like 2 minutes. So I was like, man, I had to get home anyway to help put my son to bed, and then a little bit later, my wife said, "Oh, they're still all out there," and I went out there, and hey, I had figured out who it was, and that the guy was dealing with some issues. And but I googled trying to figure out if what the chances were he was going to make it. It's like 50-50 actually. Like, you can actually. It's the sixth floor where you're most likely. Most people, pass jumping off the sixth floor. There's a fifth floor. It can be 50-50 depending on if you land on your feet or your head. And it looked like the guy landed on his feet because I mean, they were jacked. His So, because that's what they're saying. If you fall on your like you're if you fall one story on your head, you can die. Versus you could I forget. I read numerous places you could fall. You know, 3 stories, land on your feet and roll and be fine, and just have some broken stuff. And guy definitely had some um, broken legs. They weren't in any sort of natural condition, but um, yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. But man, it's not the way to go, because if the guy truly wanted to die, it didn't work. I mean, and to see somebody struggling for life or for breath, or what exactly the struggle is, just uh, it's gonna take me a bit to like process all of that. Um, but yeah, crazy. But I think about the kid's parents. What was going on in his life. I can't imagine anything being that bad to want to die. And I don't know. I I'm so focused. I think I like, if he survives, he's gonna be pretty messed up, and it'll be an interesting story of overcoming that. But it's definitely, I mean, none of it's, I wouldn't, certainly killing yourself is not the way to go. And certainly not that way. I can tell you that firsthand. It's not, unless you're going to go head first. It's just not good. But yeah, have a good morning. See you tomorrow morning. Keep on doing what you're doing. Don't commit suicide. It's stupid. Get some help. You need some help? Give me a call. Love to talk to you. Take care.